Hi everyone. Welcome. We're here today doing a Q&A. I'm Saberspark. I'll be your host this evening, and with me this wonderful cast of people, and I want them all to introduce themselves all at once, talking over each other all at once. Now, Alex, do you want to start it up?
Sure. Hi, I'm Alex. I voice the Ringmaster Kane. This is kind of my first major role in anything, so it's like I'm still not quite used to all of the goings-on that comes with all of this, so please be gentle with me.
Hi, my name's Amanda, and I play Ragatha. I'm a voice actor. Weirdly, in this room of voice actors, I'm a voice actor. I've been in other games like Smite, Genshin Impact, Paladins, Wulong Fallen Destiny, but other things you can find on IMDb because I don't remember half the time. Yeah.
Hi, I am not a voice actor at all in this room of voice actors. This is my first major voice acting role, voicing Zubul. Yeah, thank you. Previously, I was an animator and cleanup artist. You probably know my work from Lackadaisy. I was cleanup lead on that. I worked on the Animaniacs reboot as cleanup.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I have my own little animated show, Farfetched, that I'm leading. So, yeah, voice acting is very much out of my purview, so it's very exciting to be on this.
It feels so weird to know that I commissioned you like 5 years ago to do a little thing for my YouTube channel.
We've known each other since like what, 2015?
I think even further back.
When we were both, back when we were both babies, and now look at how things have changed.
I was like, Ashley, can I commission you to do a little thing for my YouTube channel called Christmas Crap?
My name's Lizzie Freeman. I'm the voice of Pomni, and you might know me from a bunch of other anime and video games like Rent-A-Girlfriend, Licorice Recoil, Genshin Impact, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I'm so excited to be on this amazing digital circus adventure with all of you wonderful people.
Hey.
Hi. My name is Marissa Lenti. I am the voice of Gangle in this, which has been a lot of fun. I've never really gotten to do one of these like indie animated things, and I've always wanted to, so I'm like really happy it's this one. I mostly do anime voiceover. I've been in shows like Fairy Tail, Attack on Titan, and One Piece. But the thing I'm most known for is one of the playable characters in Borderlands 3, Mose. Very different from Gangle, very different, and it's been very fun to put out stream clips as my VTuber and have people tell me that I'm lying because I sound nothing like Gangle. It's been a lot of fun.
Imposter.
Bold.
I'm also in my spare time. I'm a VTuber, Vixen. She's Christmas themed. It's very, very fun.
That's awesome. No, I can only imagine people showing up in your stream being like, "Wait, you're a voice actor. Why aren't you constantly voice acting?" And it's like, why? Wait, you're telling me you're a person as well, and it's just a performance? What? I don't believe it.
Sounds fake, but I'll be watching you.
Hello, I'm Michael. I'm no stranger to indie animation. I've been in a few of those things.
A few.
A few. I was Rocky in Lackadaisy, and in Murder Drones. Has-Been's pilot is Angel Dust, and a few other ones. Hello.
It's secretly our goal to just get cast in any indie project that Michael is in, because that's how we know which ones are gonna get like super popular.
Michael.
Yeah, I'm curious,
Yeah,
Michael.
mark of quality.
I mean, like, do these like showrunners show up to your place with like offerings, and they bow down, and they like have like
I'll be
blood on their
honest,
forehead?
a lot of just that they're my friends, and they're just like, I want to work with you because you're my friend.
You know that meme? You
Aw.
know that meme with the swordsman like prostrating with the sword in front of the giant looming figure in the background? It's like that, except it's a shotgun mic instead of a sword.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Sean Chiplock. I voice Kinger, who's also a royal, and I'm suffering from a cycle of success because since the release of Digital Circus, everyone and their mother wants me to narrate their fan fiction as Kinger. They send me the script, and I read over it, and I scream in nightmarish horror, but that's precisely what they wanted from me as Kinger, so I send that off and get paid. I just don't know what to do with all this money. Please help. I'm drowning in it. I can't get to my bed anymore. This is awful. No, but you may have also heard me in such things as Daddy Warbucks in my 3rd grade play of Little Orphan Annie, the Great Deku Tree in Breath of the Wild, which is the reason everyone played it, and Mishima Yuki, who is such an overpowered character that he never showed up in any Persona game after the 5th.
Amazing.
So
that's the thing I have to ask. This wasn't my question I had in mind, and forgive me, Andrew, for starting with this one. But, like, has there been an inquiry by a fan where they're like, hello, voice actor, this is my script. Check it out. Can you tell me what you think and if I can borrow your essence for it? Have you all gone through that threshold by now? Is that, like, kind of like a rite of passage?
Oh, yeah.
Some fans
yeah.
have wanted Zooble to call them some really interesting things.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley, no. Are you kidding me? Was the price worth? No, I'm joking. I feel like that comes with the
price worth
territory.
it.
No, no. I mean, I feel like the actual big question I wanted to ask you all, because I mean, you all are voice actors. This isn't your first dance, but what has happened with the pilot or the first episode of Digital Circus is something that is just unreal. Like, I was sitting at my desk and I'm like, wow, that's nearly half the population of the U.S. has watched this one video. That's insane. I feel like this is like gangbusters level of success. I mean, has it really, like, I mean, it's been over a month now, but like, where do you all stand with just soaking in that success, that victory, to be like, oh my God, like, this is for real? Because I know for some of y'all, you've done this dance before. Well, for others, like Alex, you mentioned this was like a big breakout role for you. Like, can you all tell me about your experiences and thoughts about the success of Digital Circus?
Can I just tell you how my last just over a month has been?
Please.
Please.
Okay, so episode comes out, starts doing good. It just snowballs and snowballs. People start asking me to do stuff. I go on vacation to California. I propose to my girlfriend. We get home. We're both getting sick. I can't do any of the work that people are asking me to do. Now I'm still catching up to it, and the number's still increasing. It's great. It's just a little much.
Busier than you've ever been.
Yeah, it really is busier. Oh, and I also have a job on top of that, so it's like,
Oh man.
That's a lot.
it's a bit of a juggling act, but this has been fun so far. I'm curious to see where things go from here.
But this is the breakout role for you. Like, would you say this is the one?
I mean,
imagine.
Apart from that, the only real roles I've had have been like fan dub things. The thing I was most known for was doing some fan dubs of Spamton from Deltarune. And
You and me
What's it
were in
called?
the Fazbear and Friends shorts. You and me
Yep.
both.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were in those too, Marissa. I forgot.
Yay.
Yeah.
I met Amanda through a Fortnite machinima years ago.
Oh my God, you're right.
I
I forgot. I blocked it
war
out of my
flashbacks.
memory.
My favorite role to date, I'm sorry, Kane, has been playing not just one, but multiple talking pieces of poop for the neighboring city of Hamilton, Ontario's pipe and toilet safety program.
Amazing.
It is award-winning, too. It won an award for government communications.
I have to know that this organization, they're like, yeah, we remember when Kane was just getting started out voicing a pile of poop. We believed in him. Now, I gotta know, was that in your resume when you were auditioning for Kane, where you're like,
Hell yeah, it was!
okay, very good. No, but I'm really happy for you, Alex. You seem like a very nice guy, and this is like an excellent springboard with Kane. And again, congratulations on your proposal
Right.
as well.
Hey, thanks.
All right, Amanda, I gotta know. All right, with
Yeah.
Ragatha, actually, and this can apply to all of you all. When it comes to the auditioning for the characters, is it just more of a, hey, a friend's asking about an audition, we'll give it a shot, or How did you all really, all of you can again collectively answer this question, but how did you get roped into this? How did you find out? Was it a friend of a friend, auditioning? How did this go down?
I was reached out to, but I believe, I know now, I didn't know then, I believe it's because Michael recommended me. And so
Okay.
Jasmine sent over an audition and said, would you like to try out for these characters? I said, absolutely. And that's pretty much it.
Heck yeah.
Did you have a, like, I'm going to ask you all this as well as a follow-up. Do you have like the design of the characters to look at and kind of absorb before? Okay, I was wondering about that.
Yeah. Not always on every audition if you're asking generally, but for this one, yeah, we had, like the character concepts, which I think was really helpful, especially for the super fun characters like Gangle and Zubul, being able to see them and kind of try to use that when you're visualizing and putting the character voice together is really important.
Awesome.
Meanwhile, I was basically precast as Jax because Goose already knew me. Goose, like months before I even knew Digital Circus was in the works, messaged me and said, "Can you do a decent Raggedy Andy kind of voice?" And I said, "I could try." And then months later, I got the auditions from Jasmine at Glitch, and I saw the audition sheets, and I was like, "This looks a lot like my friend Goose's style," and I realized it was.
Nice.
Yeah, so it just all worked out.
I mean, it seemed like the role was made for you. As soon as I heard the voice, I was like, "Yep." Another banger for Michael.
I first got in touch with Glitch when they were casting for Sunset Paradise. I believe, that was for the character Meggie, and I believe it was LC who recommended me for that part. And we worked on that show together, and it went pretty well. And I got this round of auditions when they went out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Marissa, what about you?
A very similar story. Just got the auditions from Glitch. Ended up auditioning for all the characters except Pomni. I skipped Pomni because I was like, no, someone with a natural cutesy wootsy little voice is going to book that.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
Obviously, Michael.
Yes.
But I will say, as far as the response is concerned, I have been very lucky in that all the Gangle requests that I get are very wholesome because she is a small baby bean, which is rare for me because most of the characters that I play in anime are dominatrix types and that sort of thing. Mistress Sadie in One Piece comes to mind. My character in No Guns Life comes to mind. So all the requests I usually get are a lot. So it's actually been quite refreshing. It's been maybe the opposite of what some people have experienced with oh my God, a huge pile of stuff. Mine has been more like just a smattering of, there's my cat, just a smattering of wholesome little Gangle requests here and there, which has been quite nice. The one hilarious thing I was not expecting, because I didn't quite grasp how big this had the potential to be, is I did watch the pilot episode on my Twitch because I was like, oh, this is a fun thing to share with my audience. And it wasn't a proper reaction video. I didn't have a lot of insightful commentary. It was just me and my friends watching it and being like, wow, it came out so good. And then I put it on my VOD channel, and my VOD channel gets, a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 views per video. Most people are watching live. That video now has 850,000 views. And quite a few comments from people who don't know me and are like, I'm getting, you're not actually the voice actor. Oh, this is not really what I expect from a reaction video. And I'm like, I'm just a streamer, man. I didn't expect anyone to watch this. I thought it would get 200 views and we'd move on. So it did sort of impress upon me oh wow, this world that I've never gotten to step into, this indie animation world, it is alive and it is thriving in a way that I could not conceive of before this, and now I finally understand. The great news about fielding requests and figuring out what is good and what is bad is that we have a group chat. I've never had this much cast camaraderie before either, which has been very cool. We have a group chat where we share memes and we share pictures, and we also talk about what is okay to do, what is not okay to do, what would Goose want? This is Goose's project. We want to respect that more than anything else. So it's been nice to just be able to talk to everybody and just be like, hey guys, what do we think of this? what do we think of doing a little comic dub? And where's the line? And where do we stop? And where do we start? So it has been very, very nice. I've actually had quite a nice experience, which has been heartening.
Aw. That's sweet. I not to like, steal away the wholesomeness. Talking about Gangles though. Talking about, it's been refreshing because you usually do like a bit more lewd, I guess, use of dominatrix kind of stuff. I was scrubbing through my Twitter feed and I'm not sure if y'all have seen this art. There was like a pinup drawing of Gangle that I'm like, how the hell did you make a piece of string, or ribbon look lewd? And I'm
They
like,
figured it out.
They figured it out. They cracked the code.
They have their ways.
The internet finds a way.
Devil works hard, but fan artists work harder.
I have already come across things of Kinger that I'm not the least bit bothered. I find it hilarious, and I have to
You
like
shared
pause.
some of that.
I have to, I know, but no. The stuff I have not
Oh.
shared, the number of times I've had to sit there going, okay, would they find this as funny as I do, or would this get me silently banned from the chat?
Here, I have to ask Lizzie for you because again,
Oh, no.
you're the main character. All right.
Oh no.
I feel like I scrubbed through all the content farm thumbnails. And I'm like, what are they doing to Pomni? Leave her alone. But like, you're a seasoned voice actor. So for you in particular, what has your experience been like just absorbing all of this? Because I was told, and I'll keep, the names, on the DL, that you went to a convention recently and that the reception to you being there and folks knowing that you're a Pomni was, they said that you had lions wrapped around like blocks of the convention.
Yeah, I was just at LA Comic Con, and I was literally just tucked away in the vendor hall in like the armpit of the convention. And every child that passed my table like would rubberneck or point and Pomni! They all, it was weird if a kid didn't know who she was. They all knew her, and their parents were also like, yeah, I watched it with them and it was really cool. We both liked it. And like there was one little, it's kind of a sad story. Should I share it, guys? I shared it in the chat. Is that okay?
Make us cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this one will make you cry. There was a little girl that was passing by, and I saw her looking at my banner and like staring at Pomni. So I did the voice, and she went, oh! And she walked away out of my view. And like 2 minutes later, she came back with like a tissue because she started having a nosebleed
Oh, right.
from the shock of hearing Pomni's voice.
Too
And that's-
excited.
Yeah.
Started
so that's like,
abstracting.
yeah. So she's like, oh, let me keep my nose from bleeding, but I want to go back for an autograph.
Oh, no.
And she was really sweet. It was really, really cute.
Like the improv question we want to ask here is that like with what you all have contributed, with what you're currently a part of, it feels like it's bridging a gap in a big way where for a long time I feel like voice actors online, that's cool and all, but like I feel like the legitimacy you all have brought to the table, and with these new generation of people who have an appreciation for the internet, for the online space, for the work, the culture, the grind, that you're being recognized, and it's inspirational for a lot of online creators who have respect for you and say, hey, it can be done. So like, what's your all sentiment about that? Because I feel like I'm not sure we quite realize that you all are blazing a trail that like many will now be able to follow and say, we can do it too.
Putting on my couch philosopher hat for a minute or two, I actually would say it's really just us being a part of the trend that was going to naturally develop as the next generation grew up. 5-7 years ago, people started talking about how the quality of anime dubs was starting to skyrocket in general, and a big part of it was because the people who were now acting and performing and directing in those shows were the folks who grew up on Toonami, who grew up on anime. So now you had people coming from a place of passion that were like, I've always wanted to be a part of this industry. And when you get passionate people in those positions, you're going to naturally end up with a better product. I was almost going to touch on earlier with what you were saying about, the propensity or the ability of this project to get so big, when actually I'm not at all surprised that indie animation is thriving in a time where, Warner Brothers and a lot of other companies are just ripping shows off the market left and right. Disney Plus ripping their own like major IPs off to throw them in the vault. So you look at stuff like Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss and Lackadaisy and Digital Circus, and you realize that we're quickly entering an era where freelance, where animators, where artists, where voice actors, where all these people who specialize in a gig economy type of skill set are now collaborating more and more often, not only just because that's how we grew up, that's how we cut our teeth, was on stuff like Newgrounds and Facebook posts and casting calls, but even out of necessity. So sorry to anyone else that has to follow me, but go ahead.
I wanted to build off by just saying, like, ironically enough, you mentioned the studio system and how much of a mess that is. It kind of makes me think of the old slogan to MGM Studios, which is Ars Gratia Artis, which translates to art for art's sake. And I feel in a lot of ways that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well said.
Just not really as much about like the profit or how much things can be sold for tax write-offs, Zaslav, but like actually making something that we're passionate about, something that we believe in and we want to express and share. I mean, if I can tie this back to your earlier question about how we got approached, like I mentioned Spamton from Deltarune, the dubs I did of that, and I just thought I played Chapter 2 of Deltarune the night it came out, sleepy, sleep deprived. I say, oh hey, that weird salesman guy, he seemed funny. I'm gonna dub him tomorrow, and I did, and I had fun doing that.
Yep.
Like Sean said, like I've been watching a lot of not really much anime, but cartoons I grew up on, and so I feel like I've developed like a real, I guess, affinity for like the wacky energy of cartoons, and I brought that to the table for Spamton and now Kane. So
and to cycle back to the whole idea of like art for art's sake and everything too, a lot of indie animators and people making these shows, a lot of them do it at a loss. Like they're not actually making a profit. They do it at a loss because they enjoy doing it. They want to get their vision out into the world. And that's something you don't really see in the industry, because if it's something that they want to make that doesn't necessarily adhere to all of these things that producers and, the studio overhead want, it's just not going to make it. It's going to get shelved.
You do not go into indie to make money. You do not at all. You have to go into it because you love it.
Every indie person as far as like showrunners go, I've heard the exact same sentiment, Ashley, where it's like you don't go into indie animation to make some lucrative profit. It doesn't exist. You go in there because, believe it or not, you're an artist and you believe in that artistic pursuit, which I want to ask you about, Ashley, because like you're a well-seasoned soldier. You've done multiple dances. You're a voice actor. You're a showrunner. You're an animator. You know the online space so well. And you're actively doing it in a way, because I got the chance to interview you, and we're just talking about like far-fetched and this amazing idea. And if you're like, yeah, I say right, but as far as like with the music and the animation with the band, it sounds genius. So like, I mean,
thank you.
You're very inspired. I mean, like where did that come from?
I just always have really loved animation, and I have also always kind of been the odd one out, kind of the shut-in and like alone most of the time. I literally didn't have friends until I was 15. So I spent a lot of my time online drawing and like trying to learn creative things, because art was something that I could do on my own and, explore fun ideas with. And my parents were super obsessed with Looney Tunes. So literally from the moment I was born, they were like, here are all these Looney Tunes cartoons we've illegally put on VHS tapes for you. Enjoy. So I was, inundated that from very, very young age. And when I finally branched out and started connecting with other people making art, I finally, for the first time ever, had people that liked me and thought the same way I did. And now it's really cool, like being able to be surrounded by just this massive group of people who have all come together under the indie animation umbrella. And like what I was gonna say earlier about like, how you started or how you got here, or like why you're doing this. Like when I was 15, I tried to get into voice acting, And I was actually cast as one of the main characters in a comic dub that I really wanted to be in. And the moment I was announced, the entire fandom all started commenting on the video saying that I was awful and I sounded weird and my acting was terrible and they hated my voice and like all this stuff. And that made me drop voice acting for the next 15 years, like entirely. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stick to the art side of things. This isn't for me. But thanks to incredible people like Goose and Michael, that, you know, Goose gave me this opportunity and Michael really encouraged me. I finally got back into it and got over that fear. And that's another thing that's just amazing about the indie animation community is how much everybody cares about each other and wants to support each other.
Love it. That has to be cathartic for you to be voicing, and you're a good voice actor.
Oh,
But I'm certain these folks would be shaking in their boots if
Oh,
you're like, have you met my boyfriend? They're like, oh shit.
You want to know the most ironic thing? So that thing that I got kicked off of was the comic dub for the webcomic The Black Blood Alliance. And the background artist and one of the main artists for the comic is Fable Sigel. And they are the director on Lackadaisy.
Hell yeah.
The show that I am cleanup lead, compositor, tool builder, and now voice actor on. So it's all come full circle. So screw those people. I now work directly with one of the creators on something very big and very cool.
It's inspirational. I mean, again, like that's the thing is like the fact that you didn't give up, and it's understandable to be like, well, you know, because that online space can be very, it can be kind of
Cutthroat.
It's
cutthroat. Go ahead.
Yeah, it can be so killer when like that is your first experience, or even if it's not, like when people just immediately, you know, for lack of a better term, shit all over you, like when you're starting out. And it's important to remember that things can change, and that doesn't mean that that's how things always will be. You shouldn't just give up. You should keep on trying and keep on going.
Oh yeah. Sean,
What's
up?
do you play chess?
Do I play chess?
Yeah.
It was one of the many things that I tried out when I was younger and quickly got tired of, just because the amount of like quiet time in between each move would drive me crazy. You'd think as an introvert that I would be plenty capable of doing very little minute by minute. But no, my life needs constant stimulation in some way, and so chess just didn't sit with me. I would rather play checkers or I'm trying to think of what's Mancala. I was about to call it like balaclava or something. Balegde. No. So I'm familiar with chess. I would probably collect like really nice looking chess sets and then never play them. That's my gimmick.
My part 2 question. What board game do you think Kinger would play?
What board game do I think? Shoots and Ladders.
Okay.
Because because it would immediately come in where like he rolls like double sixes and he's like, yes, and then he moves the 12 spaces and he's on like the longest snake or shoot on the entire board and he goes, oh.
Very good. All right, Michael, I have a question for you.
Yeah, lay it on me.
So you've had your, you've been involved on so many projects in the indie online space, and I mean, like it's just breathtaking to see yourself force you're now a Tumblr sexy boy, and I'm not like too surprised.
You wouldn't believe it from the webcam feed.
No, on the contrary, it reinforces it, Michael. No, so what's it like being a Tumblr sexy boy? I mean, in multiple ways. I mean, I feel like you keep breaking into it.
I don't really know, actually. It's funny because I constantly do see people say, "Can you flirt with me as Jax?" I'm like, "You're never going to get that." I did plenty of that in my tenure as Angel Dust. I'm not doing it anymore as Jax. You have to fight for it.
Sorry.
Good luck.
Actually. I mean,
if I can cut in and tell a funny story, I'll tell you how this man is in every single indie animation. It's because he's one of the most talented voice actors I've ever met in my entire life. No, stop. We were on a Danganronpa fan game together, and
Oh,
this
shit.
dude played 3 characters, and I could not tell that they were all the same person. Like, legitimately could not tell. And I was like, I gotta get this guy on my casting list. And that was the beginning of me sending auditions to you and you starting to work on some of my stuff. Because it was just like, that's 3 people coming out of one guy. Insanity.
So for those who don't know, Michael and I live together, and every now and again I will hear the disembodied voice of some creature on the other side of the house, and I will genuinely not realize it's Michael for a good second.
Danger in my
Here,
house.
here, I can do
Yay.
this for Ashley in the distance. Hold on, let me turn all my noise stuff down so you can hear it. Hold on, here,
Oh,
like
no.
Ashley will just be in the other room, and she'll just all of a sudden hear.
I
You just have
hate
to
when
live
you
with
do
that.
that. So, okay, no, you don't. Okay, tangent. He will do that in the middle of the grocery store.
I
It's not
will.
even just our house. There will be an actual human child somewhere else in the grocery store throwing a tantrum, and Michael out of nowhere will pull out the baby cry just in the middle of the aisle, and I have to
You-
grab him.
You are to babies what ambulances are to dogs, Michael.
Yep. I've
Wow.
Trying to
I've
be
done
the
it.
baby whisperer.
One of my housemates, old housemate Jacob, I remember he actually got very mad at me because of he's like, "What the fuck?"
We don't have kids. Where's that sound coming from? Well, when we did the Glitch X stuff, Michael, and this applies for the other voice actors who are involved, because we're doing our lines, getting ready with Jasmine, and getting ready to perform, and you all flipped the switch and started voice acting, and I can't act. I can't act to save my life. And I'm just like, how do they do it? Like, because I record lines for my videos, and I sound like a robot. And there's this nice calmness and smoothness, and the way you all can just flip, it's like a lens at an eye doctor. Lens A, lens B, lens Jax.
You get used to it. The more you do it, it's just kind of one of those things you get into it, and you build a comfort level with it, and it just kind of comes naturally after a while.
So
It
it-
is.
with
It's
you,
like
Saber,
riding a
I-
bike.
I'm
Yeah.
with you, Saber. I don't have that switch yet either.
You'll
You'll
get there.
develop it.
bewilders
It'll
me.
get
It
there.
comes.
I mean,
You have
the
like
thing,
tools in your tool belt.
exactly. The thing about voice acting, and that I think it's equivalent to any job where, people be like, wow, it's so amazing that you can act, you can get into character, and you can do all these different voices. And I'm like, but I'm not a mechanic. I can't fix a car. I can't do a lot of things. I can't build anything. I can't make anything. I'm not like skilled with like art or anything. It's just, this is my skill set. And it's a skill set that, it's very flattering that people will come and like ask for your autograph and like want to see you at shows and stuff, because this particular skill is so lauded in a certain way. But it is just a skill set, the same that everybody has a skill set. Everybody's good at something. So it's just the same in my mind of like, this is what I'm good at. Other people are good at other things, and we all just have our own sets of skills. And I don't think acting is that much more incredible, although it is very flattering that people do think it is so incredible.
It
But
is,
when
though.
you're bad at something, anyone doing it well is amazing. Like when I see people like welding and they do a really good job at it, I'm like, I could not even imagine the first step to being good at that. Like there's so much knowledge that they have that I will never in my life have. I'm never going to learn how to do that. But there's skills that bring you prestige, I guess, and make you very visible. And then there's skills that are just as impressive, and require just as much of a knowledge base, but nobody really lauds. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I just think it's more humanizing to just remember that acting is a skill, and inevitably there are people out there who are good at things that we cannot even begin to fathom as creative types. Like there's stuff that we will never be good at.
Can anybody here beatbox?
No.
That's a good skill.
No,
So
absolutely not.
there was a friend of mine who has a brother who's a welder, and she's like, yeah, he dropped out of college to pursue welding, and our mother's kind of disappointed. I'm like, why? Like, welding's a skill. Like, the world will always need welders. But no, Marissa, the way you talk about, like, voice acting being a skill, being a doctor, being a mechanic, it just made me think of some scenario where, like, the mechanic's like, well, I fixed your car. And you're like, oh, I'm out of money. can I voice act for you? And they're like, excellent. Let's like bartering, and they hand you a script, and they're like, go for it, all right, and don't worry about your tire rotation. We'll call it equal.
Oh, if only I could pay for things with like dubbing anime, but even getting money for that and then trying to exchange it for other things is not sufficient. It does not pay very well.
If there are any mechanics listening to this, I just want you to know ahead of time that I will voice act for you in exchange for you fixing my car. I'm happy to do that deal. So
Great deal.
Just hit me up.
Deal. Or it'll change for like, a paragraph or two. Let me ask you all this, all right?
No.
Listen, all right. So
Thank you.
with the indie space, it seems turbocharged right now for indie animation. And I want to know where you all think it is going. What does the future hold for like with YouTube and indie animation and just organic creators in general? Where do you all think this is heading? Where the industry seems like it's in pure chaos right now, it seems that hope lies in the indie creator, and I want to know what you all think about that. Open
Look
table
at
question.
Digital Circus's viewpoint or view count. It's crazy. Like, it is already the most viewed animated like pilot on the internet, which is insane. And it just in the span of a month and a half already, it's at like 160 something million views.
60. Wow.
It's pretty clear to me that more and more audiences are just kind of realizing that there's a plethora of content on the internet that's just as good as what you would, if not better than some things you would see in the actual industry, on streaming, on television. And more and more creators are just going to realize that they can make their own shows and their own product. And we're going to just see more and more of these independent cartoons come about. I already know many people that are already trying to make their own shows, that have been trying to do so, but are just,
They keep emailing
reinvigorating.
us, asking us
Yeah.
to voice Kinger.
They do.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like also with like the release of Procreate Dream, that's gonna make a huge
yeah.
boom of indie
Exactly.
content in these coming years as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Absolutely.
I can't even begin to fathom, because I worked on an indie animation show, Epithet Erased, if anyone's heard of that one.
Yeah.
Made by my best friend Jello, and it was sort of, I guess, pre-indie animation boom, or it was like right there at the beginning, where it didn't really get to be peers with all these other shows. So go watch Epithet Erased. But I worked on it. I was the casting director, and we worked on it at Sound King Studios, which is the studio that I work at, which is, I guess you'd call it an indie recording studio. We've worked on a lot of bigger projects now. We've dubbed a lot of anime, but this was sort of before that. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. But the one thing that I could say, like, I had no idea where indie animation was going to go. But the one thing that I did say is I was like, I hope it does not go the way of people feeling like, wow, this is great. Let's see if we can get the industry to pick it up and get legitimized by the industry. I really hope that people kind of recognize the power that they have, putting things on the internet in accessible places and using indie voice actors, because I love indie voice actors. I love indie voice actors so much. I started putting them in anime as soon as I had the opportunity. I was like, ooh, I get to choose the anime voice actors now.
Sound Kings is the reason I've got any anime work, really. So
The dragon. I love you as that
exactly.
dragon.
It was
Love
so
you in
fun.
Dragon Ghost
I had
House
so much
Hunting.
fun doing that role.
I was so pleased to see it. But, that is a legitimate thing that we can do now is like Sean was saying, the people who are working in these industries now are people who are very passionate about this work and like doing a good job. And so the reason why I get indie voice actors involved in my anime dubs is because I know the wonderful passion that indie voice actors can bring to the projects that they're on. So I cannot foresee where indie animation is going next. I do not understand this world at all, which is why I was so blindsided by the success. But I really hope that no one feels as if they need the industry to legitimize indie animation.
Right,
I would
right.
like indie animation to find its own footing and grow in a way that, the fans can still connect with it the way that they do now.
I think there's always going to be a space for it.
Yeah. I'm really
Because-
excited to see where it goes.
The reason why I say there's always going to be a space for it is because, well, I think with all the corporatization of things and with the whole specter of AI looming as well, people are always going to gravitate in some form or another to actual, real human storytellers.
Yeah.
Because when you think about what was lost during the pandemic, I hadn't seen something like I hadn't seen a bit of musical theater or live theater in years, and just this year I saw Hamilton for the first time, which was amazing. And the thing is, like, you can't replace a stage or a person that you are in the same space as with AI.
No.
And I think that no matter how many projects will try to replace it, there's always going to be groups of people that will say, hey, I want real people to work on this with me. I want to create something beautiful with my own hands. There's always going to be that drive there to be an artistic being, something that has thoughts and ideas and dreams that they want to express. And yeah.
If I can piggyback off of that, I've noticed that across the board for a lot of YouTube. I think we've been so overloaded with artificial, astroturfed content, which the word content now just feels almost like, ugh. It's almost like there's this counterculture going on right now for sincerity, for organic, real, tangible stuff from real people. And that it's like, it's creating a market for that, which it feels good. It's like, wow, I don't know the first thing about this 4-hour-long video about this weird rabbit hole topic, but this passionate individual does, and I'm hooked on it. And passion is something that can't be faked. So there's something about it with the indie space as well, where you see the industry struggling. And I just want to put it out there for the record. The industry isn't the enemy. And I'm not saying that any of us think that. There are a lot of artists on that side of the fence who are like trying their goddamn best. But for
within the confines of what they've got.
Executive meddling, corporate, people who see them as more of a means to an end. So
you see that with something like The Owl House, for example.
Exactly.
I mean, an amazing cartoon, but Disney's gonna Disney at the end of the day.
Unfortunately.
So,
but that's where like the indie space really is this bastion of hope. And I feel that I feel like Digital Circus was a head turner, and I imagine industry going, wait a second, why did this do so well? And how can we buy it? So Marissa, to piggyback off of what you said,
that you're right.
that thought of licensing, acquisition, that's the thing that kind of freaks me out the most, is where they might see YouTube where they're like, I'll have some of this, I'll have some of that, I'll have some of this as well. And it's like, what? And here's, again, that's not to say that's inherently a bad thing. Because sometimes money at the end of the day is needed to pay for rent. It is needed, and I think it's so interesting because we're crossing that bridge actively right now. So who could say how it plays out? But to see what you all have accomplished with Goose, with Glitch, with Kevin, with Jasmine, with Digital Circus, it's like nothing short of a miracle. And it goes to show, industry isn't a prerequisite. It can be done on their own, with indie creators, and that's fucking awesome. I'll just say that right there.
And like you said, it's not an enemy or against thing. I hope that they continue to coexist as separate things. I would like there to still be indie shows in the same space that there are professional industry shows, and the two do not need to meet to be legitimized is basically all I'm hoping for. There can be shows that just live and die indie and just can tell their story wholesale, just like, here it is, I've created it, and here it is for you. Because back in the day, when I was growing up, one of the biggest sources of entertainment for me was Newgrounds animations. There were so many wonderful Flash animators on Newgrounds, and to see Newgrounds sort of not able to produce that stuff after a certain point, it was quite sad. So I'm very glad that there's this new generation of, I guess, YouTube animators kind of filling the space in sort of a even more professional way. I mean, you would never see something like Digital Circus that has this level of polish on Newgrounds, but also it's a different in technology. Technology has gotten so good.
That's a big thing. That's another big thing, is this creeping expansion of accessibility for an audience, for financing, for the technology on the hardware, the software. You couldn't have done this 10 years ago. It couldn't have been done. Now it can. It's amazing because you mentioned Epitaph Erased, and it's like a trailblazer. They did it way before things were ready to like bloom. So it's just, I don't know. It's an interesting picture to see, and seeing it continually, continue to be drawn and finished. And I also want to say, for the industry stuff, I wonder if they fear, and I mean this from the executives, where they're like, oh shoot, indie animation, indie developers, indie creators, they kind of shine a light to our, less savory practices, where you have industries with infinite, pockets to pull from. And then you have like Glitch doing excellent, ethical, wonderful work, and other teams as well. And it's like, oh shoot, they're going to find out that we're not paying our animators as well as we should be paying, when our executives are getting like $10 million severance packages. So I don't know.
I don't think they are thinking about that. I don't think
think
it
so?
even crosses their mind or their desk, and I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
They are so disconnected from the audience, from
Yep.
people, from the creators. They don't think about those things. We do, because we're actively in it. But that's kind of what makes the indie space so incredible. You asked where we think it's going to go. It's going to go wherever people want it to go. Whatever people want to create, that is going to push the industry to grow in that direction. You make the things that you want to see, that you want to be a part of, and you build it together with other passionate creators. And I think that's what makes things stand out in general. Having that passion, sharing that passion, finding other people who share it with you. People see that, they notice it, and there will always be a space for people who want to create those kinds of projects, whether or not there's money behind it. And some people can't fathom that because money's all they think about.
Yeah, well said. Do you all feel that coming from the online space is something that you all can like acknowledge, where it almost feels like, no, you get it. You come from my realm. You come from the grind, and you get it in a way that like other folks don't. Where like some executive would be like, yeah, y'all are the digital circus and just sign right here and we'll get you your, merchandise. Versus like, whereas we talk to, like the Glitch folks who do run this on the business side, but they get it. They understand it because they come from the online space. I mean, do you all feel that as well?
Yeah.
It's because they're not in the business world. They're not CEOs. They had to learn business, but they started in the art space. Whereas I think it's the reverse for someone like, I don't know, Bob Iger or Zaslav. Like, they're from the business world, working in an artist medium, and it's kind of like they're trying to wear a suit that doesn't quite fit them.
Right.
Oh, and there is a benefit to being business savvy. I
Of
mean,
course.
one cannot understate the fact that it takes a lot of money to make these things. Again, going back to, you mentioned Epithet Erased again. My friend Jello, who ran that, he was like, I want to make sure I pay everybody properly. I want to make sure that this team is rewarded for their passion and for putting that passion into my show. And he was like, yeah, it like bankrupted me for the entire year. It's one of those things where there are benefits to having someone who's very business savvy to kind of look over all your numbers and be like, this is what it's going to be, gamers. We're going to cancel your show because it's not going to work out. Or, to have the passion of just like, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to fund it. I'm going to make it happen. I have so much respect for him for making sure that everybody got paid properly and putting all of his own money into creating this thing. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I'm worried about you, and I feel like it's kind of the same for the indie versus industry. There is definitely somebody looking over the numbers and being like, I can see, what we got to do here to make sure all of us can eat tomorrow. Whereas, in indie, there's this passion and this drive, and I love both. The ideal is a world where everybody gets both. Everybody has a business guy telling them, hey, be careful. And everybody has a passion guy being like, and here's the show we made being careful. Yay. And again, I work at a studio that I would consider indie. And we've worked on a lot of projects where I'm like, let's get, indie voice actors in here because they bring a lot of passion. But then sometimes it's like, man, you get the guys that have been in this industry for a million years and they come in and they just knock it out of the park so easy. You don't have to teach them anything. There's benefits to both. It's the marrying of that sort of those two worlds that is really, really cool. I just want to see a world where people can choose the path that they take. They go, I stay in the indie space, or I'm going to go industry, or I'm going to do some kind of weird fusion thing, but they pick, they know what is required for their project, and they don't feel pressured to go one way or the other. One should hope for that sort of thing. And also, shout outs to, the animators and the voice actors who do work primarily in the industry space. It is a path that one would choose because, again, people got to eat. I really, really hope that as this sort of stuff evolves, we see splinters, just going into all these different directions of like, what can I do with the indie space, and what can I do when I'm in the industry space? What do these resources afford me? Fingers crossed.
Oh yeah, well said. I have a hard-hitting question. I know it's been a line of hard questions, but what was y'all's favorite starting Pokemon for everybody? I got it.
Squirtle.
Ooh.
All
Charmander.
time?
Yeah,
Charmander.
Charmander. Okay, I heard Michael. Did you say Squirtle?
I said Squirtle.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro.
Yeah!
I'm gonna
Squirtle,
be the
bro.
renegade here, and I'm gonna choose violence with 2 unorthodox picks.
Let's hear it.
Pikachu from Pokemon Yellow and Rowlet.
Okay.
No, those
No,
are
Rowlet's a good one.
Rowlet's a good pick.
Rowlet's a
solid.
good pick.
That's solid.
I was straight up water type for every generation until X and Y, and then Fennekin finally stole it from me because the Fox was cool, and Delphox, the final evolution, the fire psychic typing was super cool, and it wasn't firefighting for once. But I may have started out with, Squirtle, but like X and Y ended up being my favorite game in the franchise, and having that Delphox on my team was just super cool. So
Nice.
Will I get censored if I say Weed Cat?
You'll be
Sprigatito! He's so cute.
banned from this Christian server.
Now, my dear, you can't smoke that ganj in here.
Someone's
is
gonna
that a
animate that
Sprigatito?
now,
I'm
Alex.
calling the police.
It might be Cyniquil for me,
Oh,
I
that's a
was
good
I was
one.
fire for the first 2 gens.
That was a good one.
And I love Gold and Silver. I know Gold and Silver as like a game, people have a lot of critiques of it, but the vibes of Gold and Silver are so
Yeah.
good. That day-night cycle, the
Oh, yeah.
music, it's so good. So I might have to
Maybe
go
they
with
haven't
Cyniquil.
aged the best, but they're my favorite. They're my favorite experience playing Pokemon. You really had to have been there, like when the day and night system you couldn't cheese.
It was
Like you had to
was-
wait for like new daily events. That was just the coolest thing back in the day.
No,
sitting
you're
in the
right.
back of my parents' car, nighttime, waiting for the street lamps, dude. And it was me and that Cyniquil against the
And also-
world.
Aww.
And also the inevitable heartbreak when you're when the cartridge's battery died and you couldn't
Mhm.
save anymore.
Yeah. And also the inevitable heartbreak where I have all of my Pokemon from Gen 3 onwards transferred up to the most recent game on that
Oh,
version.
yeah.
So the fact that we couldn't go from Gen 1 and 2 to 3, like the
Mhm.
transfer system as it stands now only started in Gen 3, broke my heart so
Yeah.
much. I miss
On
my
the-
Gen 1 and 2
Aw.
Pokemon
On the flip
so
side of
much.
that, imagine you're a piece of data abandoned for the better part of a decade. Finally,
Don't-
the sweet release of death is approaching, and then Marissa Lenti transfers you over into Pokemon Bank, and you are
My-
brought back to life again.
My first shiny ever is 15 years old now. I have had
wow.
her
Jeez, they
since
can-
Pokemon Ruby.
Go to college
Are-
with 3 years.
Are the Pokemon and the Pokemon Bank going through the same type of existential dread as the amazing,
Yes.
amazing digital circus?
Don't make me
characters?
feel these things. Lizzie, don't make me feel these things.
Don't say
Goose
that.
Marks is like,
Let
shut
me
up,
live
Fox,
in
shut up.
bliss.
After Fox, after
Yeah, you're just
Fox.
giving Goose ideas.
Sleep.
Squirtle and Charmander and
Don't
Bulbasaur.
hurt me. Don't hurt me like this.
And Pikachu.
Pikachu, think.
Ashley, what about you?
Well,
Fire
as a
starter.
legendary myself.
I said Charmander. I
that's
have
right.
been fire type for like every generation.
I'm embarrassed to say that when I played Pokemon Blue when it first came out back in 1920s, and I couldn't figure out how to get out of the house.
No.
Oh,
I couldn't figure it out. I spent a week and I'm like, this is the stupidest game ever. And I'm like, I couldn't get out of the house because I didn't realize the doormat meant the
Oh,
exit.
you had the same problem I did. I cried
Yeah.
because I spent.
That's the
20
rite of
minutes.
passage for Pokemon, right?
Oh my gosh.
Saber, honey.
well, go see.
I was stuck. I just want to get my Squirtle.
Okay. Saber, I may have one that actually beats it for a legitimate reason.
Go ahead.
So, in the original days of Gen 1, I had 150 out of 151 Pokemon. I had a legitimate Mew from a Nintendo event at a Toys R Us. This was not a cheat. This was not a hack. It was a legitimate giveaway. The only one I was missing was Tauros because Safari Zone would not give me the capture rate to get a Tauros. So I'm sitting in a Joanne Fabrics while my mom is shopping around, and this group of kids sees that I'm playing Gen 1, and they go, hey, are you playing red or blue or whatever? Yeah. Do you know about the missing number trick? And they teach me how to do it, but here's the thing. They weren't like secretly telling me what to do, knowing it would mess up my file. They straight up warned me, if you do this, do not save your game because it will screw it up. What happens when you tell a 6-year-old not to do something because it's going to make crazy things happen?
They do it.
So, I ruined my one and only chance to be a genuine Pokemon master,
No.
corrupted my save, and had
That
to
is
start over.
heartbreaking.
The Mew. Oh,
I'm
it
so
sucks.
sorry.
That's painful.
I can do you one worse. You ready for this? It's
No.
not.
Okay.
It's not
No.
technically
How does this
Pokemon. It's Game Boy though. I had the
Okay.
big old brick-looking gray Game Boy back in the day. And I want to talk to you all today about stupid child logic, like Sean's,
no.
but 10 times worse.
Oh,
For whatever
no.
reason, I thought, wow, these AA batteries have lost their charge. I know how to charge them. I'll put them in my mouth. And for whatever reason, my saliva will supercharge them. So I remember putting the batteries in my mouth and going, and I just put them back in the Game Boy. And I'm like, it worked! Because it did work for a little bit. And I'm sure my saliva had nothing to do with that. And I'm sure that the battery poisoning is why I am the way that I am. But the shock on my mom's face when I was like, Mom, I need some new batteries. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I can probably get a little bit more out of this. And I remember just putting them in. I was like, looked at her and she's like, spit those out, Steven!
I thought you were going to say you put them in the microwave.
No.
Same thing.
The
Nope.
best part is that
That's too
this
smart.
this happened last week.
This happened last week. Mom, I'm sorry. I gotta play Pokemon Blue. I'm stuck in the house after 40 years. Well, let me ask you all this. All right, let's bring it here to the end. Where do you all think? Like, okay, I want to ask a question about the future of y'all's paths, collectively, respectively. But I feel like we've been already kind of touching on these questions already. But like, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of in awe of what you all have achieved, and I want to know what do you all think the future holds for yourselves individually, but also for your trade.
I primarily work in the anime space. That is where my heart lies. I work a lot in writing and directing and project running. And I really hope I get to keep doing that. It has been so amazing to get to be a voice actor again a little bit and tread into this indie space and be a part of Digital Circus specifically. But my heart lies in the anime space and on the other side of the glass doing like showrunner stuff essentially. So I really hope that's where my career keeps going.
Yeah.
I just worked on my dream project actually.
I want to see that. I still want to
It's
see
okay
the
for me
Digimon
to,
movies.
Yes, the first 3 Digimon movies, they were dubbed back in the 90s. They came out in like 2000 as Digimon the movie, where all 3 of them were stitched together. But that meant that like 40 minutes of content of like runtime was deleted from them collectively, and we just redubbed them complete, uncut, original
Oh
Japanese
my
music,
God.
and I collected as much of the original Saban cast as I could for it. So I'm very, very proud of that, and I
That's
should
awesome.
only hope I am lucky enough to work on more Digimon stuff because it's my favorite franchise of all time.
Take me with you.
If I can, man, if I can, you're there with me. I really want to do. Oh, I really want to do more Digimon stuff, but there's no guarantees in this world. You know, there's no guarantees in the anime industry where everything runs on hopes and dreams and one nickel. So I have my fingers crossed. I really hope that I do get to do more show running, more Digimon, more anime directing, and working with more of these great people on those projects, because bringing indie actors into the anime space and surprising everybody with who is in the show is one of the great joys of my life. Many epithet erased actors and actors I worked with on Death Battle show up in my anime dubs as like lead characters, and people are always, who the hell is this? And then they get to experience
Who the hell they are.
who the hell they are, just
Yeah.
amazing actors giving these amazing performances. So I'm really crossing my fingers that the future holds more of that for me, because you never know. When you close up, especially in anime production, you're like, that might be the last one I ever work on. The future is very uncertain, but every new one is, I really hope for.
Hell yeah.
I was just gonna say, I mean, piggybacking off what Marissa said, this, for all I know, could be like my only major role going forward.
No,
And
it couldn't
No.
be. I'm just gonna. That's actually an impossibility. I'm gonna throw that out there right now. So.
Agreed.
well,
Agreed.
I mean, my goal going forward really is to, I mean, hopefully while the iron's still hot, start sending out, I don't know, some kind of like messages to folks over in Canada land, where I'm from. Say, hey, I'm part of this big thing. I also work for a company that's probably worked for you, Chorus. And then I want to be on Spy Family.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Just in any capacity. It doesn't have to be a major role. I just want to say that I was on it because I love that show,
That's good.
and it would be just fun.
Good luck, man. I'm
Fingers
rooting
crossed for you.
Yeah, I mean, pipe dream maybe. I don't know. But
Nothing's a pipe dream.
I was just gonna say that I love what I do. Like, that passion has been here for the past 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And inevitably, whatever happens in the world with AI or whatever, I'm gonna keep pursuing acting in whatever way that means.
yeah.
How I've done that my whole life, and I'm gonna keep making that happen. And if it's in the indie sphere, that's great. If it's anime, that's great. Just whatever I can do, because it's what brings me joy.
Yeah.
Well said.
I was just gonna say that I don't know. I just want to keep working in animation, be it making my own stuff, working on other projects. Like, just being in that sphere is the priority to me, and what I really, really want to see, and maybe if I'm lucky enough have a hand in, is helping shape the indie sphere into being something that actually is profitable. Because currently indie animation is made at a loss, like just across the board. The only 4 successful things are made by the same 2 studios, you know? So making it so that, you know, animators that work in, or not just animators, but anybody who works in the indie sphere is able to get access to things like healthcare and, you know, a livable wage and all of that stuff. That is really the next step for indie. And that is going to be the thing that pushes it into being even more of a viable medium, where it's not just money that talks, it's art and it's people's creative vision. And we have lost a lot of that in the growth of executive-led creative decisions. So no matter what form that takes, that's just the direction that I want to keep going in. And obviously I want to keep voice acting as well. It is very, very fun.
You're very good at it.
You are very good.
Absolutely.
That means a lot coming from
And-
you guys. You guys are like my senpais.
Oh,
I'm excited to see where your voice acting journey takes you.
Yeah.
You never know where those first few roles are going to come from, and it's always very interesting. Can't wait.
This sure was an intimidating first one, I will say that.
Oh.
I'm sure.
well, you nailed it. You
If
blew
you
it out
want-
of the water.
If I can also just quickly add on to what you were saying about like funding animation and how difficult that is. I mean, I'm wearing a shirt of Cuphead right here, but you all know the story of how the animators and leads on the development of Cuphead had to mortgage their own house in the hope that maybe their game would become successful. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it should not have to be like that, but, you know.
The infrastructure just isn't there yet,
It's-
and it is getting there,
It's
though.
getting there. Well, okay, so I spoke to Olin Rogers with Final Space a few days ago, and he thinks that graphic novels and how they get funded via crowdfunding is like the blueprint for indie animation moving forward. That it will be crowdfunding that will hopefully pick up the slack, which, I mean, remains to be seen. I know crowdfunding already kind of exists, but I've also heard a bit of a friction to that, where they think that crowdfunding implies a lot for the folks who support it and what they get out of it and what they're... Oh, I don't know. It's a double-edged sword is what I'm trying to say, but...
I mean, you need to have... I would effectively say that with crowdfunding, you need a really good pitch. And I can see a bit of that with Digital Circus and how there was merch available at the start. Just to say, hey, if you liked this pilot, please support us, and we'll have the funds, perhaps, to create more of what you enjoyed. And in that sense, like, people are talking with their wallets, too.
Right, but with your wallet. But I guess indie animation, or just animation in general, depends a lot more on merchandise, more than, like, indie game developers, where, hey, you know, Steam always gets their cut, and you have to go buy the game to play it. While for animation, it's like, well, I gotta pay to watch it? What the hell? And it's like, yeah, it's not free, idiot. You have to, you know, but YouTube's precedent makes it to where it's like, but it is for free. You know, lest we forget about YouTube Red. Someone told me about YouTube Red a few days ago, and I had like a conniption. I'm like, oh, you know, I forgot how old I am, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a thing. But no, it's an ever evolving, changing landscape, and I would like to optimistically think it's evolving for the better. Remains to be seen, but there's a lot of hopeful things going on right now, and all y'all are a big part of that. So thank you for your contributions.
Just happy to be here.
I mean,
Same.
thank you, and also you too. I mean, like...
No, stop
you've
right there. I want to rally viewers of this video to support you all actively. What can we do to support you all? You know, give us shout outs, respectively, for your social handles, for your projects. What can we do to support your pursuits?
Oh, real quick before all of us plug ourselves, I just want to say Goose and the Glitch team also should be getting all of your support, the animators.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. So if you guys do want to see more Digital Circus, please go buy the merch.
Yeah.
That is how they are funding the show right now. And I want to see more episodes of the amazing Digital Circus. That's for sure. You know, as voice actors, we get to be very much the public face of a lot of the stuff that we work on, but our contribution is actually quite small. You know, we record an episode and then it goes off, and 1 million people have to put 1 million hours of work into it in order for it to come to fruition. So please give Goose your support.
Oh, yeah.
Please give the entire team your support. Look in the credits, find all those people. If you like their work, please follow them.
Well said.
But then when it comes to us, if you would like, we're going to be doing a signing where we're gonna do autographs for the amazing Digital Circus for the very first time, and we have custom artwork. I believe a lot of us have custom artwork that is going to be unveiled for this autograph signing. When we sign, it'll be on streams. Is going to vary from person to person, so definitely as everyone names off their socials, you should follow the individual people that you're interested in. I will
physically show up to each person's house. I will go above and beyond.
My socials are at Marissa Lenti for the most part, Twitter, Facebook, everything, Instagram. But I will be signing on my Twitch, which is Vixen_VTuber. What about you, Alex?
I'm on Twitter at AlexRoshanVA. And my YouTube is where I post occasional shit posts and archives of all the very silly things I did when I was a teenager. You can find that as just Alex Roshan, or if you're a real one, Peanut3423.
You can follow and support me anywhere that you want to. And I may or may not post content on that platform, but you are welcome to follow me, and I will be just the Clippy everywhere. If you are interested in getting any of my signatures from Streamly, I will post about that on Twitter. You are welcome to follow me also on Instagram or TikTok, and I hope that you aren't disappointed when I never post anything on there. But you can tag me and show me all of your beautiful artwork and your creations. It's the highlight of my day, going through and looking at all those tags, all the fan art, all of the cosplays, getting to share stuff in the group chat. Look at all of this stuff. It's great. So please continue to do that.
Excellent. I'm on Instagram too. Same thing, Alex Roshan VA, but I don't use it too much. This has given me an excuse, though.
Ashley, how about you?
Yeah, you can follow me. I'm just Ashley Nichols Art everywhere. Twitter specifically, I am Ash Nichols Art. I know it's very confusing. Or alternatively, if you want to support more indie animation, you can check out my project Farfetched. It's just Farfetched Show on Twitter. That gets activity way more than my account does, because that is all I do at this point, basically. So, yeah, either check out me or that.
Really, folks listening, support Farfetch. Check it out. The launch, it's imminent, so we can actively be part of that like springboard. So just now's the time for all the folks who are like, I wish I was there for the first day of Digital Circus being on YouTube. It's like, we'll be there for Farfetch. Let's be really pushing that engagement.
Show them the love.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Lizzie R. Freeman, and on Instagram, I'm Lizzie_Freeman_VA. I really should make them all the same.
Marissa, I think you already said yours, actually, so I think we're good to go.
I did mine.
All right. Michael, we know where to find you. No,
you know where to find me.
Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter and most places as just Kovox, Kovox. Couldn't get it on Instagram, so I'm mkovox on Instagram. Yeah, just those places. And also to talk about like supporting Digital Circus, remember there are always going to be bootlegs, so only support the actual merchandise, which is on digitalcircus.store.
They do it
That's
all
the
in-house.
support the show.
They do it
all
in-house.
in-house.
Yep. Legit quality stuff, just like the show. They're doing it by themselves, which means you get the top quality from them. So, like Michael said.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, how about you?
Well, good news, Michael. I am the owner of Kovox on Instagram. And for just 20% of your future residuals on your next indie project, I will gladly hand it back over to you. But
we'll talk about it in DMs.
Assuming that's a no, and or you show up with a 2x4 at my house later tonight. My Twitter is VA Sonic Mega, voice actor Sonic Mega. My Twitch and basically anything else is just Sonic Mega. I think the only case where Sonic Mega is not me is a German Spotify copycat site where someone took it before I could register for it. Those sons of guns.
Sure.
But Twitter is where all the announcements happen. Twitch is where all the streaming happens. And so if you're a big fan of RPGs and watching people who are not speedrunners manage to break the games anyway, check me out sometime.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you all so very much for your time, for your answers, for everything. We love you all. I want to keep supporting you, and here's to an incredible future.
Thank you for your incredible
Can I do the
taste in
thing?
flannel.
I do it the old way.
Wait.
My
the old
arms
person
don't
way.
move. I'm encrusted in pixels. I can't.
That good enough? That good?
Wait, no!
Yeah.
Your ears are making an upside down heart. You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
turn the heart upside down.
Alrighty, and see you all next time.